Good day, learners. My name is Tshivhase Mukhethwa, and today we are going to be doing a revision of Grade 12 Mathematics Paper 1. This will be very helpful for learners to prepare well for their final examination. In today's lesson, we'll be focusing mainly on 4 questions, which is under the topic of number patterns and series, finance, calculus, and also probability. That's all that we'll be doing in today's lesson. Then other questions we'll see them in the later stage. So first question, we have question 2. The following sequence of numbers forms a quadratic number pattern: -3, -2, -3, -6, -11. So learners, in this situation, what you need to ask yourself is, what is a quadratic number pattern? And the answer to that is that quadratic number pattern is the sequence which have the first difference and the second difference, which is a constant. I will repeat again. Quadratic number pattern is a sequence that have first difference and the second difference that is constant, which means that our second difference have to be constant number. So 2.1, the first difference of the given sequence also form a sequence. They are saying that the first difference of the given sequence also form what? A sequence. Determine an expression for the nth term of the first difference. This question is like taking us back to arithmetic sequence where we only have first difference that is constant. So let's do it. We have -3, -2, -3 again, -6, and lastly -11. So they say that the first difference of the given sequence also form a sequence. So let's find our first difference. Our first difference, will find it like this. Let's punch our calculator. -2 minus -3 equals to 1. -3 minus -2, it gives us -1. -6 minus -3, it will give us -3. Then -11 minus -6, it will give us -5, like that. So this is our first difference. 1, -1, -3, and a -5. So the question says determine an expression for the nth term of the first difference, which means we have to go further and find the second difference, like that. -1 minus 1, it will give us -2. -3 minus -1, it will give us -2. -5 minus -3, it will give us -2 also. As you can see here on my left, on the right side, it is constant because all the second difference that we have here equals to -2. That means the second difference is constant, just like what we have defined at the start of this lesson, what a quadratic number pattern is. So if we go further, we have to know what is the general formula to find the arithmetic sequence. Remember, here we are finding arithmetic sequence through quadratic number pattern. This is what the question 2.1 is emphasizing. So Tn will be equals to a plus n minus 1 times difference. So do we have our A? So our A will be the first term or the first difference, that one, which means here we'll say 1 plus, and we'll write it like that because this is a general formula, times D, which is which is negative 2. So now we are left with only simplification. We are simplifying 1, negative 2 times n, positive n, it will be negative 2n. Negative 2 times negative 1 will be positive 2. So now we'll have our general formula as negative 2n plus 3, just like that, plus 3. So with that being said, we are done answering question 2.1. We'll get your 3 marks like that. So let's go to 2.2. Calculate the first difference between 35th and 36th term of the quadratic sequence. Okay, here in this situation, you are going to use this general formula that you have found to calculate the first difference between 35 and 36 as they is specified in this equation. So what you need to do here, what you need to know is that all the time that you see the equation like this, just know that you will have to use a smaller number between these two. The small number between 35 and 36 is 35. That means that is what you will substitute in this general formula that you found out above there. So it will be t 35 equals to negative 2. Inside the bracket will be 35 plus 3. So what we need is to punch a calculator. 2 over 35 plus 3, it is equal to negative 7. That is why you have 1 mark. That's all that you will need to do in that 2.2 question. That's all. Remember to choose the lower number. Sometimes it may be 25 and 26. You have to put 25 here. You see? I hope that is clear. So let's move on. 2.3. Determine an expression for the nth term of the quadratic sequence. Here in 2.3, that is where we are starting to deal with quadratic sequence. On the previous question, we were dealing with arithmetic sequence. So if we remember very well, let's try to see our pattern again. Negative 3, negative 2, negative 3, negative 2, negative 3, negative 6, negative 11. Let's redo it again. Then we have got 1 minus 1, negative 3, 1 minus 1, negative 3, negative 5. Then here we have our second difference, which is constant. Okay, so if we move, determine an expression for the nth term. To determine the expression of the nth term of the quadratic sequence, this is what you need to know. You have to know the general equation first, as always. So our general equation for quadratic is Tn equals to an squared plus bn plus c. That is our general equation. So what does that mean? It means that we will have to find the value of a, b, and c. And to find the value of a, remember, to find the value of a, you always say 2a equals to second difference. Always when you are solving quadratic equation, 2a equals to second difference. And the second difference in our situation is negative 2. So 2a will be equal to negative 2. So our a will be equal to negative 1. When you divide both sides by 2, we're left with negative 1. So we have found our a now, right? So what can we find next? B. To find b, I'll write here 3. The formula to find b is 3a plus b equals 2. So now here you have to equate it with the first term of the first difference. This is the first difference, right? So you have to equate this 3a plus b with the first term of the first difference. So here equals to 1. So we already have a there. So we have to substitute our a, which is negative 1, right? Plus b equals to what? 1. So to solve b, our b will be equals to 1 minus 3 minus 1. So b equals to positive 4. So that is our b there. We found our b. The only thing that is left for us to find in this problem is this value c. So if we have found the value of a, which is negative 1 here, and the value of b, which is positive 4, it will be very, very easy for us to find the value of c. You will see why I'm saying like that. Because to find the value of c, what we need to do is use this formula: a plus b plus c equals to, so what are we equating this with now? The first term of the original, this one, the first term of original equation, that one, right? It is negative 3. So our a, we know a, negative 1 plus b, which is 4, plus c, that is our unknown. We need it, negative 3, right? So you just have to mix it, the subject to the formula like that: negative 3 plus 1 minus 4. If you sum all of that, you will find negative 3 plus 1 minus 4. You will find the value of negative 6. That means we have all that we need to write the general formula. So let's make some space here. Let's erase this side. Let's make some space here quickly. Let's make some space. All right. So, okay, let me write the value of c here. The value of c that we have is negative 6. That is what we found. Right? So here we'll say a. So a is negative, right? So it's negative 1. So in mathematics, we know that we can just write it as negative n squared, then we'll be okay. Because negative, we don't write 1 in mathematics. So our b is what? Plus 4n. Our c, minus 6. That's our general formula. You will get your 4 marks by that. Alright. Let's move on to 2.4. I hope 2.3 was clear and we will be able to understand. So let's go to question 2.4. Let's start by erasing here. Let's erase here. Go to 2.4. Okay, 2.4 is 2.4, right? So 2.4 it says explain why the sequence will never contain a positive term. Okay, here you can see that our sequence from the above there, it was negative. So they are saying explain why the sequence will never contain a positive term. To solve this, we can use what we call a completing the square. We can use what we call completing the square. For example, we got Tn as negative n squared plus 4n minus 6, like that. So we will complete the square of these. Ne? So when we complete the square, it will be negative n plus 2 x squared plus 4, right? Plus 4 minus 6 equals to 0. You see, it only have 2 marks, so don't suffer yourself too much, right? So we'll have negative n plus 2 squared, right, minus 2, you see, equals to 0, right? So when we go further, our last step, it will be negative n minus negative. This negative will multiply whatever is inside here. That's why the sign is changing. Squared minus 2 equals to 0. All right. So from this final step that we've done here, we can see that negative. I don't have a space. Let's make a space. Okay, let's make a space here. Above. Okay. From this equation, we can see that, from this final step that we've wrote here, negative n minus 2 squared minus 2 equals 0, we can see that negative n minus 2 squared minus 2 is less than negative 2, right? It's less than negative 2. And if this is the case, if it is less than negative 2, this will tell us that our Tn maximum, it will tell us that our Tn maximum, like this, ne? This equals to negative 2. Our Tn maximum, it will equal to negative 2. Therefore, this is therefore, right? No therefore no positive term in this sequence. There will be no positive term in this sequence. Or if you know any if you have another way that you understand better, you can use it here on 2.4. This is a general question, so it's not like compulsory to do this. If you know other way, you can do it, right? All right, let's move on. We are going to question number 7. All right, this is question number 7. We are done with question number 2. Question number 2, we were discussing quadratic patterns, right? Here we'll be dealing with financial mathematics, and this can relate to real life problems, because one way or another, or sooner or later, you will be using this financial mathematics in your life. So let's go to question 7. 7.1. A business buy a machine that cost 120,000. The value of the machine depreciates. That's the key word. That's the first key word that we have in this question, depreciation. We know the formula that we have to use for depreciation at 9% per annum according to the diminishing balance method. 7.1.1. Determine the scrap value of the machine at the end of 5 years. Another keyword that we have is the scrap value, right? This one, scrap value. So this question is very easy. That's why it would only have 2 marks. What you need to do is determine which formula will you use. We know that we have the formula for depreciation, and in the statement they say that the value of the machine depreciate. You see, that's a clue there. So in finance, you have to note the keyword, that you'll be using. So we have the general formula for depreciation: A equals to P1 minus I, and like that. So what is our A? Our A, that is what we need. Our A, remember, it is a accumulate amount. In other words, accumulate amount is the final amount. Then the P is the present amount, like principal amount, for example, the amount that is given. So P is 1. So that means in this problem, our P is 120,000. 1 minus I. This is the interest rate, and it is always in decimal. So here it will be 0.09. Then N, it is the period. The period is 5 years. So to get this, you have to divide 9% divided by 100. You get this. That's how you do it to get the decimal. It is it is always in decimal all the time. So the answer to that first question will be 120,000 1 minus 0.095 to the power of 5, like that. I got 74. Remember, don't forget to put R, which stands for rand. We're dealing with money right now. 883,86. So that's our answer for the first question, 7.1.1. Okay, let's move on. Welcome to this question 7.1.2, which says after 5 years the machine need to be replaced. Let me rub some. Let me rub here. After 5 years, the machine need to be replaced. During this time, inflation remained constant. That's the other keyword that we've got. Inflation there. I've underlined it. Inflation remained constant and 7% per annum. That meant the cost of a new machine at the end of 5 years. So now we are using the A equals to P. We're using inflation. 1 plus I, and this is the inflation formula. So P, we have P again, right? It's 120,000. We are given here 120,000. 1 plus, now our I is different because we have our I here. So it will be 0.07 to the power of 5. Where is 0.07 coming from? 7 divided by 100, right? I hope that is clear. So let's find the value. Let's find this money. Let's find how much will we have. Let's find out how much will we have. Plus 0.07 to the power of 5. Yes, we have 168,306,21. This is in rands, right? So I hope so far we are clear and we are together, right? Okay, let's move on. 7.1.3 is the business estimate. The business estimates that it will need approximately 90,000 by the end of 5 years. A sinking fund approximately 90,000. So by that statement only, in my mind, I understand that no, here in this problem they are talking about the future value. They are trying to talk about the future value because they are saying the business estimate in future after 5 years that it will have 90,000, right? Into which equal monthly installment must be paid is set up. Interest on this fund is 8.5% per annum, compounded monthly. This compounded monthly here is very important. You will see why when we solve it. The first payment will be made immediately, and this statement here, which is the first payment will be made immediately and the last payment will be made at the end of 5 years period. That one is also important. We will see why when we solve. Calculate the value of the monthly payment into the sinking fund. Okay. This problem, as I've mentioned, we are going to use the future value formula. In finance, I like that every problem we will know which formula to use. So our future value formula is like this. Future value equals to x 1 plus I n plus 1 minus 1, just like that, then divided by what we call I, divided by I. So our future value, they have given us our future value. Here is 90,000. That is what is estimated that the company will have, you see. So our future value already we have 90,000 equals to, so we need calculate the value of monthly payment. Remember, in this problem we need the value of x, that is the monthly payment into the sinking fund, the value of x, right? So x, we'll write it as it is. So 1 plus our I, this I, you have to say 8.5 divided by 100. 8.5 divided by 100 is 0.085 over 12. Why did we say over 12? That's what I mean. That's what I meant when I say I will show you what does this mean, compounded monthly. You see, when they say compounded monthly, you have to write 12 here you have to divide the I with 12, right? So that's why there is a 12 here. So we are dealing with months here, no years. So here in the end, here on the end, we have to put month, not years. They've given us 5 years, but us, we want to use 5 years. We have to multiply 5 times 12. Somewhat 5 times 12 is 60, right? Is 60 plus 1 60 plus 1 minus 1. Alright, you have to divide all by 0.085 over 12. Remember, divide by I, this I. You see? So, what is going to happen now in this problem? You see, we are going to divide. We are going to simplify this portion that I've underlined here. That I've circled here. We're going to simplify it first, right? Let me try to rub it like that. Okay. So 90,000 equals to X. When we simplify all these things, what we will have left, it will be 75,9697. This is what we get from this by punching our calculator. So to find the value of X, we have to divide by what? 75,9697, and we divide our other side by 9. We divide our other side by 75,9697. Right, so this will cancel. So our value of X, let me try to write it somewhere here. Our value of X will have, when we punch our calculator, we're going to get our value of X as 1184.68. So what does it mean? It means that every month, calculate the value of the monthly payment into the sinking fund. Every month for that 5 years period, they will be putting 1,184 rand into the sinking fund. You see, that's what we were calculating. I hope that is clear. Finance is easy because if you know the formula to use, you know the way. You see. So let's go to 7.2, right? Let's read the question. Kasala receives an amount of 900,000 upon her retirement. She invests this amount immediately at an interest rate. Kasala receives an amount of 900,000 upon her retirement. She invests this amount immediately at an interest. She is investing, right? Okay. By that statement, I know that we'll be using the present value formula at an interest rate of 10.5% per annum, compounded monthly. That sentence is there. It is coming back, compounded monthly. She needs an amount of 18,000 per month to maintain her currently lifestyle and plans to withdraw the first amount at the end of the month. For how many months will she be able to live off her investment? Alright, here we're going to use the present value formula. It goes like this. The present value, it is X. It is similar a little bit to that one here of future value. So here we'll have something like 1 minus 1 plus I to the power of negative n all over I, like that, right? So that is our formula that we are going to use here. We have got the present value. Yes, she have received 900,000, right? She have received 900,000. 900,000 equals to, she have received 900,000, right? Yes. So what she will need per month is 18,000. So here value of X, we are going to write 18,000 because the question says for how many months will she be able to live off her investment. We need the value of n, right? You should even know what we need. If you know that, it makes it more easier. 1 minus 1 plus. So we are going to divide 10.5 by 100. 10.5 divided by 100 is how much? Is 0, 105 divided by what? 12. Why? Compounded monthly, right? Negative n there. So here we divide by 0 0.0. Sorry, there's no zeros. There's no zero. So 105 over 12, like that. So here, even here, we have to simplify our things. So to firstly simplify, we can divide 900,000 by 18,000, right? If we divide, you can punch your calculator. Problem, I don't have a space here. So if you divide 900,000 by 18,000, you'll get 50. If you punch your calculator, you will see what I'm talking about. Get 50. This will be 50 equals to, right? If we move forward, we'll be having 1 minus 1 plus, let me make a space. Let me make a space. 1 plus, we'll have 1 plus, 1 plus 0.105 over 12 power of n, right? Over 0.105 to the power, divided by 12. So if you are here, you can see that we can cross multiplication. We can do a cross multiplication because it's like this, right? So if you see, you can do like this, right? So if we multiply 50 times 50 times 0.105 divided by 12, this will give us, let me make a space. I hope you are following. I really hope you are following what I'm saying. So if you multiply 50 by this, you are going to get 7 over 16, which will equal to 1 minus 1 plus 0.105 over 12, right? Over 12 negative n, like that. You see, that means from here, what are we going to do from here? What are we going to do from here? Remember, at the end, what we need is the value of n, right? So from here, what are we going to do? We are going to take this one. So you can change sign. It will be 1 plus 0.105 over 12, right? Negative n equals to 1 minus 7 over 16. So, okay, let's say 1 plus 0.105 over 12 equals to 1 minus 7 over 16. 7 over 16 equals to 9 over 16. 9 over 16, like that, right? So now, I forgot negative n here. So now we need to make this n positive. How can we do that? Because we cannot deal with negative exponent. So it will be 1 plus 0.105 over 12 n. You see, it changed. But what does that have effect on? It have effect on this number. It will be 16 over 9, like that, you see. So now when you are in this situation, remember, now we are just simplifying to get to what we need, which is the value of n, right? Yes, nothing is going on much here. So we have to get the value of n. How can we get the value of n? If you remember very well, algebra, if you know very well your algebra, you know that we are going to use logarithm. So we're going to apply log both sides. Log, we're going to apply log both sides, right? Log 1 plus, right? 1 plus 0.105 over 12, right? To the power of n. Also this side we apply our log 16 over n, like that, right? So what we have to do now, we know that Once we apply the log, our n should be dropped immediately. So n should be dropped immediately like this. You see, n log 1 plus 0, 105 over 12 equals to log. So what we need to do is we divide by log 1 plus 0, 105 over 12. Then here also we see log 1 plus 0, 105 over 12. Just like that. See, I'll make a space here. I will remove all this. Alright. So then, if you cancel this, if you punch your calculator, you'll see that your n will be equals to 66. This means that for how many months will she be able to live off her investment? Therefore, she will be able to live off her investment for 66 months. 66 months. Like that. I hope it was clear. You see, it is 5 marks, so there were a lot of work, a little bit, but not much, but there were little work to do in this question. So let's move on. So by the end of this lesson, you will get questions that just that will help you to understand what we did today. See, so I'll give you a question about number pattern, finance, and also this one that we're going to now, which is calculus. We are going to calculus. Question 8. It said, it says, given f of x equals to negative 2x squared plus 1, determine f of x. Determine f prime x from first principle. What does that mean? What does this mean? First principle, it has its own formula. You should know it. F prime x equals to lim h approaching 0. Here we have f x plus h minus f x, like that, right? Over h. This is the general formula of the first principle. You should know this. This question is there for you to have a total in calculus. It's very easy. So what we need to do here, from this equation, you see this general formula, you see this general formula that I have underlined here. This equation. Wherever you see x, you have to add x plus h. This is what this formula is talking about. Wherever you see x in this general formula that I have underlined, wherever you see x, you have to put x plus h, right? If you put x plus h, you will be able to solve. Let's go on. Let's move on quickly, guys. Let's move on. So it will be equals to lim, don't forget lim h approaches 0, negative 2 x, there is x, that means we add x plus h, right? Then squared, you see our squared there, plus 1. But they say minus this function. You have to minus with that function. So minus negative 2 x squared plus 1, right? Divided by h. You see? I hope that is clear. So here we have lim h approaches 0, right? So what we need to do right now is just simplify. So we are simplifying this one first. Negative 2. Let's leave it outside for now. X, we have to expand this one. It will be x squared, right? X squared, x plus h, it will be plus 2xh, right? Plus h squared, like that. then there is plus 1, this one, don't forget. Then here, if we simplify, here we're just simplifying by removing the bracket. So this one will be positive 2x squared, right? And this one will be negative 1, all divided by h, this h, right? So here, okay, I will write through this 8.1.2, I will erase later, right? Equals to lim h approaches 0, right? So let's multiply this negative 2 by what is inside the brackets. So it will be negative 2x squared minus 2xh, right? No, not minus 2hx. Sorry about that. That will be 4, right? Yes, because negative 2 times 2, that will be 4x each, right? Then minus 2h squared plus 1 plus 2x squared minus 1 like that, minus 1. You see, we have minus 1 there. So okay, let's not forget to divide by h. Let's not forget to divide by what? H. So here you can see that there are terms that will cancel each other. Negative 2x squared and positive 2x squared, this one will cancel each other. And positive 1 and negative 1, this one will cancel each other. So that means we'll have what is left, which is lim h approaches 0 equals to negative 4x h minus 2h squared. That's all that we have on the numerator. So if we are trying to continue here, what is our next step? Our next step will be saying equals to lim h approaches 0. We have to take a common factor on the numerator, will be h negative 4x minus 2h all over h, like that. So let's try to find a space here on top. Let's try to find a space on top. Okay, so if we want to continue, you will see that this h and this h will cancel each other. That means what we'll have left is it is lim h approaches 0. It is lim h approaches 0, right? Negative 4x minus 2h. So lim h approaches 0, it just simply means that you have to substitute h with what? 0. So when we substitute, you no longer include lim, you no longer include limit, right? You no longer include limit minus 2, 0, which will equal to negative 4x. So that's our first principle. That's how you get that 4 marks. This is our first principle. Alright, let's go to another question, 8.1.2. I hope you have all understand what we did here. So let's come to this 8.1.2. Here it is, 8.1.2. Hence, calculate the gradient of the tangent f at x equals to negative 1 over 2. The reason why they are saying hence, when we find the gradient, you differentiate once, you see. So you use the differentiated function. So remember that when we are dealing with first principle, we are deriving firstly. We are deriving once. When we are using first principle, we are deriving only once. So that is why in this question they're saying hence calculate the gradient of tangent to f at f of x. So remember our f of x, right, equals to negative 4x. This is our first derivative from first principle. Another thing that I forget, if you want to prove that you got the correct if you want to prove that you got the correct first principle, you can derive the given function. You see, let me go to that function, this one. You can derive it. I mean, you can derive it. You can find the derivative of it. If you get negative 4x, that means you did the correct things, right? So here, going to substitute x that we are given, negative 1 over 2, right? So if you punch a calculator, negative 4, negative 1 over 2, negative 1 over 2, like that. So our answer that we have here is 2. That's the gradient that we'll get here, right? So let's move on. So 8.2, we have to find the derivative. Determine the derivative of fx equals to it is saying determine the derivative of f of x equals to root 3x squared, right, plus 1 over 4x, that 1 over 4x to the power of 4. So firstly, I will simplify this equation to x 3 over 2. You see what I did, right? I just removed the cube root, plus this side I will have 4x x, I will have 1 over 4 x minus 4, like that. From here we can derive our function very well. So the sign for derivative is that one, prime equals to 3 over 2 times 1 here, because there is 1 here. So it will be 3 over 2 x, 3 over 2 minus 1, 3 over 2 minus 1 equals to 1 over 2, right? Plus 3 over 2 minus 1, I said is 1 over 2, right? Plus, then, okay, here it will change sign because it will negative 4 times 1 over 4 is negative 1, right? Here, let me change color. It will be negative 1 x minus 5. From here, you can see that we have done the derivative. If you want, you can simplify here, but even if you don't, you'll get your full marks, right? This is the derivative of this question. So what we need to do next is to come to this following question that we have here. We have this question that we have here. Given this question is saying, given h of x equals to ax squared, but a is greater than 0, determine the value of a if it is given that h negative 1 8 equals to h prime 4. Okay, to solve this is very easy. First of all, that you will do, you will say x, right, x equals to a y squared, like that, right? But y greater than 0. You see what I did there, right? This is coming from here. You see, it's coming from there. So y squared, I'm making y squared subject to the formula equals to x over a, right? So our y will be x over a inside the square root, right? So now we are going to apply what we are given, this one here, x, but we know it's 8, right, equals to x over a, like that. You see where we're going with this one, right? So let's substitute what we are given, which is 8, right, equals to 8 over a. You see, because of x, 8 is x here, I also substitute x. I also substitute this x with 8, right? Okay, let's move on. All right, let's move on. We also have h minus 1 8. equals to h of 4. This is what we're given right here, right? This is what we're given right here. So when we continue, we say therefore the square root of 8 over a equals to 8a. You see where we are going. Square root of 8a over a will be 8a. So 8a, if we square that, it will be equals to 8a also squared, right? Then 8a equals to 64. Where is this 64 coming from? 8 squared, then a squared, a squared. Any number, I mean all these number will have the squared also here, right? Yeah. So we're closely to finish. Well, this is what squared. Yeah, this is the squared, right? So 8 will be equals to 64a cubed. We cross multiply, right? That's what we did there. We cross multiply our equation. So we'll have 8 over 64 equals to a3, right? Then this one we can put inside the cube root, right? If you put inside the cube root, we are going to have a equals to 1 over 2. So this is how they will find the value of a with this information that we are given here. That's why it have 5 marks. It needs a lot of work, but not that lot of work, you see. Let's move on. So now we are coming to our last question that we'll be dealing with today, but other questions we'll see them in our later stage. So let's hurry up and finish this one. So now we are dealing with probability. All right. Probability. Let's read the question. Question 11.1. A 6-sided die is rolled and the number of dots landing face up is noted. Consider the following events. Event A, the number observed is 2, right here. Event B, the number that landed face up is even number. The number that landed face up is even number. Event C, the number 6 is facing up. Use the given information. Determine separately the probability of event A and event B. This is easy. The probability of event A. Remember event A says that the number observed is 2 at the most. So this one, it will be 2 over total. Total of the side of the dice is 2 over 6. This can be simplified to 2 over 6. Can be simplified to 1 over 3, right? So probability of event B equals to, let's see event B. The number that landed face up is even number. So how many even numbers do we have in the dice? We have 2, 4, and 6. That means we have 3 even number. Total is 6, right? Because a die have 6 sides, right? So we can also simplify this to 1 over 2, right? To 1 over 2. So, okay, we are done answering question 11.1.1. So let's come to 11.1.2. It says use probability of A and determine probability of A prime. What does this mean? It is 11.1.2. Yes. Probability of A prime, it means that we should find probability of all outcomes that are not in A. You see, we should find the probability of all outcomes that are not available in A. So outcomes that are available in A. Okay, let's do outcomes that are available in A. It is 1 and 2. I mean, A is event A, right? And outcomes that are not in A. Outcomes that are not. Sorry, this is supposed to be prime. This is supposed to be prime. Right, yes. So outcomes that are not in A, it is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not 7, because the die end up in 6. So outcomes that are in A is 1 and 2. Outcomes that are not in A is 3, 4, 5, 6. That is what they are saying to us to. This is what they need us to calculate. You see, this is what they need us to calculate, right? Nothing else, nothing hectic, guys, nothing hectic at all. So okay, we can wrap here, right? So to find this, we have an equation that we can use to find this, right? We have an equation that says probability of A plus probability of A prime equals to 1, right? You see this equation? So now we want this, right? Probability of A prime equals to 1 minus probability of A. And remember, probability of A, we have already found that here in the first question they say probability of A. So it will be 1 minus 1 over 3. I don't know what is equals to. Let's punch our calculator. 1 minus 1 over 3. It will be equals to 2 over 3. So this is our answer to question 11.1.2. I hope you understand what this comes about, right? I hope I've explained it clearly. So let's create some space to 11.1.3. Okay, 11.1.3. Say, are the events mutually exclusive? Give a reason for your answer. Are events mutually exclusive? Okay, what is mutually exclusive? By the way, the two elements are mutually exclusive if they cannot occur at the same time. I hope you get me there. Two elements are said to be mutually exclusive if they cannot occur at the same time. If they cannot occur at the same time, meaning they have no elements in common, meaning that they have no elements in common. They have no element in common at whatsoever. So, okay, if you can check, right? You can check A and B. Okay, let's increase. Okay, let's change. Let's leave this color. So event A equals to 1, 2. Event B 2, 4, and 6, right? That's what we get for event B. So so if you can see, are the event A and B mutually exclusive? Give a reason for your answer. 1 over event A, it have 1 and 2, event B 2, 4, 6, right? So by this you can see that there is a common element there. You see, this means that, therefore, this means that no, they are not mutually exclusive. Why? Because we have mentioned that there's a 2 elements that are occurring in both A and B, but if there were no elements occurring, it will be mutually exclusive. They will be mutually exclusive, right? I hope that is understood. Let's try to move. Yeah, we've answered that. Okay, so here they are saying 11.1.4. 11.1.4 it is the calculation. We have to calculate probability of A or probability of B. There is an equation to calculate this. It goes as this, right? It goes as this. Probability of A, this is the sign for OR, right? Equal to probability of A plus probability of B. Why are we using plus A? Because it's just OR we use plus, right? Let me remove this so I cannot. So minus, what are we minusing this with? Probability of A and probability of B, right? So if we go remove this probability of A, I think we have found this in the previous it was 1 over 3 plus probability of B. The probability of B was 1 over 2. Was 1 over 2 minus 0. Why do we say this is 0? This is 0 because there is no, in event A, there is 1, oh, not here, sorry. Here I made a mistake here. It's supposed to be C, not B. Even here, it's supposed to be C, not B. Okay, so that means even here I made a mistake, right? Okay, the probability of C, it is 1 over 6 because there is one chance that it will be 6 and the total is over 6 minus 0. Why is 6? Because in event A there is 1 and 2, right? In event C there is what? 6 only, right? So no repeating elements. That means this one is 0. So our final answer there, it have to be 1 over 3 plus 1 over 6. That is 1 over 2. That is 1 over 2. Right. That's our answer for 11.1. I mean 11.1.4. So let's try to make a space again, right? Let's make a space again. So in 11.1.5, they are asking a question. They are asking a question. Are B and C independent events? Give a reason for your answer. Are B and C independent events? Give a reason for your answer. So what are independent events? Two elements are independent events, right? Two elements are independent events if the occurrence of one does not affect the occurrence of another. I hope that is clear. If the occurrence of one does not affect the occurrence of another, right? So in B and C, see, B 2 4 6, right, and C 6, right? These are elements in B and 6, right? So B and C equals to 6 because this is happening here. It's like intersection 6 and 6, like that, right? So if we find B and C equals to 6, right? So we have to find, what do we have to find? We have to find B and C. This is like multiplying probability of B, which is 1 over 2 times 1 over 6, right, which is 1 over 12, right? So because B and C equals to 6 is not equal to probability of B and C, that means that they are not independent events, right? Let's make a space, okay? Or I can write, I can write on top here. I can write on top 11.1.4. So in conclusion, we're gonna say B, probability of B and C equals to probability of A plus probability of what? Plus probability of B. I mean, if they are independent events, it should be like this. So what do we need to do from here? What do we need to do? Here we found it is 6 equal to 1 over 12. So it is not equals. Therefore, no, because these ones are not equal. That's the reason. Because probability of B and C is not equal to probability of A terms. This will be terms. Sorry about that. These terms is not equal. You see? That's why they cannot be independent events. So let's try to move. Let's try to move, guys. Let's try to move. So here in this question, it is 11.2. In this question of 11.2, The probability of getting the first answer in a quiz is 0.6. If the first answer is correct, the probability of getting the next answer correct rises to 0.7. However, if the first answer is correct, the probability of getting the next answer correct is 0.4. With the use of tree diagram, determine the probability of getting the second answer correct. Okay, they are saying we should use a tree diagram, right? Our tree diagram will be like this, right? No. Let's start afresh. It'll be like this, right? This is C, correct, incorrect. That correct, incorrect, right? So let's analyze what we're given. They are saying the probability of getting the first answer in a quiz correct is 0.6. So here they've told us is 0.6 because they said the probability of getting the first answer in a quiz correct is 0.6. This is the first answer, 0.6. So because this is just a tree diagram between correct and incorrect, you know that these two, when you add them, it should give you 1. So 1 minus 0.6 is 0.4. That means here it will be automatically 0.4. So they think that the probability of getting the next answer correct is 0.7. The next answer correct is 0.7. That means here is 0.3. Why? Because this one should add to 1. But let's move on. And they say if the first answer is correct, the probability of getting the next correct is 4. 0.4. That means here is 0.4 because the first one is correct. The probability of getting the second one correct is 0.4. So we are left with 0.6 here. So we have completed our tree diagram. So in order to find the probability, write down to determine the probability of getting second answer correct, right? We have to multiply 0.6 times 0.7, right? All of these you add with this one incorrect to correct, 0.4 times 0.4, like this, right? Then when you add your calculator. Let's punch our calculator. We find 0.58. This is our probability for this question, right? I hope it is clear. I've understand it well, right? So let's come to the last question that we have for us, right? The discussed cage of an athletic feed must be moved to different position. Okay, 5 balls from a group of 15 boys must be selected performing these tasks. How many different groups of 5 balls can be selected? So first of all, with this one, you should determine what you will use. I have seen that it is a combination formula because they are combining boys from 15 boys to 5 boys, right? Different position. Once you hear different position, you know that that's a combination equation, right? So what is a combination equation? How do we even write the combination equation? It is like that. C n r, right, equals to ni, this is factorial, n factorial, ri factorial over n minus, this is minus, over n minus r factorial, right? This is our formula. So now we just have to substitute. Number of total that we have of boys is 15, but the 5 boys from a group of 5 people must be selected. So here selected boys will be 5, right? Like that, equals to n 15 factorial all over r 5 factorial. This is 5. This is 5 factorial all over n 15 minus 5 factorial. If you punch this in calculator, you will get 3003. Therefore selected, that can be selected, that can be selected, right? Sorry about my writing here. That can be selected, right? Okay, we are done now, but I have to give you a question to do on your own that will reflect what we have done, you see, in all our lesson today. So first question that I have, it is find the general formula. Find the general formula of 3. It is 3, 6, 13, 24, and 39. Find the general formula. 1.1. This is 1.1. Find the 50th term. Find the 50th term, right? So what else do I have? I hope you have copied that. Number 2, I would have 4 for two events A and B. It is given that probability of A equals to 0,2. Okay, I will finish this question on top here. I'll put that one, you have seen it, the first one. I'll finish this question here. So probability of A equals 0.2, then probability of B, then probability of B equals to 0.63, right? Probability of A and B, probability of A and B equals to 0.126, right? Are the event A and B independent? Justify your answer. What else question do I have? Also, I have calculus question here. Given f of x equals to x squared, right? Equals to x squared minus 3x, right? Determine f prime x from the first principle. From the first what principle, right? 3.1 say dy dx. Find dy dx if y equals to x squared minus 1 over x squared over 2, like that, right? So what else do I need to give you guys? There is 4, which is the finance question. It says Rufenzo. It says Rufenzo deposited Rufenzo deposited 97,000. Rufenzo deposited 97,000 into deposited 97,000 into an account that offered interest at 9.1% per annum compounded quarterly. Now we are compounding quarterly, right? Calculate how many years it took for his investment to reach this money. So guys, this will be all from me, and I hope this help you very much with reference to your examination that is upcoming. So other questions will finish when we got time. So but all the best guys, good luck.